Hello, fellow beer lovers. I'm here this evening with a beer I am looking forward to a lot. Do you recognize? Well, the labeling, familiar, because the Founders labels always have this dusky, dark sort of painting. What's the name? There's a name, Leonardo da Vinci. Didn't he use that sort of style? I mean, this is a more modern, sort of more American, but they have kind of European painting looking. They look like she'd be hanging in museums somewhere. They probably are. I don't really understand the connection. In fact, I was sort of turned off by from Founders for a long time for no other reason than the packaging wasn't like cool looking to me. And I still sort of feel that way, although it's growing on me. It's sort of old school. Do you recognize this? This is the Founders CBS, which stands for Kentucky Breakfast, Canadian Breakfast Stout. How can I not talk? There is the KBS, which is the Kentucky Breakfast Stout, and that, I think, is what sort of, how this sort of came about. So I've got the history here. It's sort of interesting, right? So, okay. KBS. Okay, there's a series here, right? There's the Breakfast Stout by Founders. That is a classic. I've not had it yet. I've had the Founders Porter. The Founders Porter is the only porter I've liked so far. I liked it quite a bit. I loved it, actually. It was very good. And so I'm very excited to try another kind of heavy, high ABV Founders beer like this one. Extremely highly rated. I mean, people love this beer, so it's very much a hype beer in the sense. Well, I don't know if that's, if it lives up to the hype, but it's got a lot of hype around it. There's so much interesting stuff going on, but let me finish this this story. So there's the breakfast stout. That is an oatmeal breakfast stout. It's somewhere around 7%, 8% ABV. I'm going off the top of my head, don't quote me. That's a legendary stout made by Founders. Now, they took that, they made an imperial version of it, and then I believe they they made an imperial version of it. So I guess they had a strong version of that very popular stout. Then there's the KBS, the Kentucky Breakfast Stout, where I think what they did was they bourbon barrel aged that imperial oatmeal stout, bourbon barrel aged it, and then added coffee and chocolate or something. I think a lot of coffee and chocolate. I haven't had it yet. I've got one in the fridge. Some might say I should have gone in the order of first the breakfast stout, then the Kentucky Breakfast Stout, then the Canadian Breakfast Stout. But you know what? Screw it. This is the one I want tonight, so what I'm in the mood for, and so I'll work backwards if I need to and go from this to that. So how did this one come about? They took the Imperial Stout, the base beer they had been using for that Kentucky breakfast, and they stumbled, it says, across some bourbon barrels that had previously housed maple syrup. So they used those maple syrup bourbon barrels to age the Imperial Oatmeal Breakfast Stout. And says, after one taste, we knew we had something special. And they say, rich maple syrup, roasted coffee, and velvety chocolate meld together in what can only be described as a transcendental drinking experience. Claiming quite a lot for this one. This is bottled in October of 2019, and of course it's now November 2020. I don't know what has been happening to this beer in the meantime. Hopefully it's been treated all right. 11.3% ABV. And so another thing is, I don't know if this is true, but I read in passing that this is the last time they're making it. 2019 was the last time they're making this beer. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but geez, if so, it's a rare find, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. I hope it lives up to what I've heard, but I don't know. If I like it, I want to be able to get a couple more before it's gone. It was expensive. I don't know. I just did it because I wanted to try this kind of legendary, highly rated stout, and I'm trying stouts, developing my palate, so it was worth it to me very much. Whatever I paid for it. At Witchcraft, the craft store I buy my singles at in Austin right now, but. Yeah, so that would be explained if it's true that this is the last batch, and that because what the reasoning was that the head brewer, I guess, wanted to work on other barrel-aged stuff, has ideas for other barrel-aged projects, and Obviously, this became very popular, and its very popularity prevented him from maybe doing more of the experimental barrel work that he wanted to do. So was just something I saw in passing. It makes me a little nervous. If I really like this, can't get it again. I was hoping it'd be like a normal, seasonal. Obviously, I don't see it all the time, but if it's just gone forever, that's kind of nuts. Do I have anything else to say about this thing before I crack it open? I've told you about how it was created. Told you about the ABV, about the labeling, and my mouth is starting to water for this thing. It definitely is. I'm also slowing to let it warm up a tiny bit, but it was taken from the fridge, relatively cold. I haven't let it warm more than 7 or 8 minutes, 6 minutes plus this video, so maybe 10 minutes it's been warming up. Still should be pretty cold, and I do like to try my stouts and even my heavy, darker beers pretty fridge cold. And not ice cold necessarily, but fridge cold, and then letting it warm up because I drink it slowly. And, I know there's a lot of the jury is still out on what the right way to do that is. There is no right way. Come on, just do whatever you like. I'll tell you the reason I like it my way. If I sip it slowly, start it cold, I don't know, I just like seeing how the taste develops. I think the truth is you can always let it warm up and see how it tastes, but you can't, it's a little more obnoxious to let it cool down because you have to take what you're drinking and go put it back in the fridge. Whereas if you're just letting it warm up, you can just hold it in your hand and let it, just think and do other things for a little bit, let it warm up and taste it again. So that's my reasoning. I might end up liking it best when it's fully warm, even to room temperature, but I get the chance to find out, don't I? And since part of my mission here is to learn more about and develop my palate and develop my taste, so I would be better served by the experimentation of starting cold and letting it get warm. And you know what I think? I think probably each stout is going to have an ideal sweet spot for each person even. Ideal sweet spot temperature for each stout and for each person. You have no way of knowing what it is unless you experiment. So anyway, I have talked enough. I want to try this thing out. I also have a chocolate brownie cookie that might be worth comparing. My plan here is to give my expectations, pour it, see how it looks, smell it, taste it, talk about the experience right now, and maybe try that cookie and see how that goes with it. Then I am definitely thinking I should let this one warm for a bit, give it 1 or 2 more tastings, see how it goes. Drink this one as slow as I can, and check in with 1 or 2 more short clips talking about how the experience of drinking it has changed. That's what I'm looking forward to talking about, and what I'm looking forward to right now as well. Okay, so not the loudest can hiss ever. Not totally shocking. A big stout, barrel-aged, and a year-old can. Wow, I can smell it already coming off of there. Hard to describe the smell. It smells like booze, It smells like some kind of alcoholic drink. Dang, my nose is a tiny bit stuffed up. I'm suddenly realizing. Yeah, it smells like maybe maple chocolate bread or something. No one smell predominating. It smells like beer, too. Beer is there. Just dark ale smell. Almost nutty. I'm excited to try this. I know it's going to be good, whatever it tastes like, and it's probably going to be different than my expectations as well. I was expecting originally, I guess I was going for a quite sweet beer, a thick, I wanted like a pancake, maple pancake syrup on maple pancake. I don't know. Something like that. Obviously, you never get what you expect exactly when you open a new beer. And like I've talked about in other videos, I found them a lot of times I just open my mind to whatever I'm going to get. It's okay to form an expectation. In fact, I think it's good to form an expectation. Because when we're buying beers from all the choices, you gotta go on something when you're making your decisions. You can't just buy them all and just try them all. So I think there's a reason to develop your hypothesis. What is this beer going to taste like? What's it going to be like? And then it's okay to be wrong about that hypothesis and then adjust and learn. Oh, I gotta taste it. I can't talk anymore. I'm going to have to make sure not to drink this too fast because you do not feel that alcohol. Sorry, the tastes are like getting my attention. Real rich, just nice. Ooh, yeah. I guess words are like, I don't know. It still tastes good, even now. I'm getting maple at the end, that maple I was looking for. There was a chocolate bar I got every now and then a few years ago. It's a real nice chocolate bar, and I can't afford to keep getting it anymore. But it was maple chocolate, and it was so good. It's just kind of like that. But a beer. So, I do have some criticisms, but they're not, I don't know if I'm qualified to give them. They're not really criticisms so much as opinions, personal preferences. The mouthfeel is not quite what I would rank as my 10 out of 10 for a stout mouthfeel. It feels a little, I would like it if it was creamier or thicker or heavier in some way. I'm getting more alcohol already. I am starting to notice it more. Not in a bad way. It's this is gonna be really hard to verbalize, but because I like to talk about the experience of the beer. When I cracked it open, and I didn't use words, but it smelled like Grandpa's liquor cabinet or something, and I mean that in a fond way, not like in a weird way. It was in an appealing way, like when you're a kid or something, you could I don't know, see your grandparents' liquor cabinet or something, imagine how it just I don't know, it reminds you of nostalgia or something. And that was the feeling, the experience, the emotion I got when I first cracked off the lid of this and just got a little smell of it. And that's kind of the experience that's continuing. It feels old school. It feels like, for some reason, Founders always makes me think of the backwoods of Appalachia. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, especially where they're actually from or not. I don't even know where they're from. That's kind of embarrassing. I can't tell you off the top of my head where Founders Brewery is located. Michigan. So I don't know why I think of Appalachia or whatever, which is not the same place in the United States. I'm terrible at geography too, so I'm afraid to say too much because I might reveal the depth of my ignorance about the geography of my own home country. I know that's kind of a meme, and if you're not, if you're from outside of America, I know we're notorious for not knowing geography. Please don't judge my countrymen by my own lack of that. But anyway, what am I trying to say here? This is a excellent experience, a great experience. Why did I have to hesitate when I said that? Because my number one stout experience so far is also my number one stout, and it was, I think, my previous review of a stout on this channel, and it was the Tupps Full Grown Scallywag. Currently, I think I like that one. It has the edge over this one. These are both two of my favorites so far. This is real good. A few thoughts. First of all, my first thought, I'm just laughing at myself. I'm going to have to slow myself down on this beer. It tastes delicious. It's easy to drink. I know there's a ton of alcohol, and I can taste the alcohol. It just doesn't bother me in this drink. Not that I mind the taste of alcohol, but you know what I mean. It's it seems like it fits with this drink, this alcohol taste in it, and makes it's very easy to drink. It's kind of crazy easy. What was it again? 11.3%. Oh, God. Yeah, no, ridiculous. You can just keep drinking. You could just sip, 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 sip. Where'd it go? Sip, sip, and then just on the floor. So that was my one thought. My second thought, just when I sipped that last sip, was that I want to chew on this. I would chew if this was a chew flavor for a candy or something. Founders CBS candy. I would chew that. If you have that, Founders, why don't you go ahead? If you can send me the royalties later. as long as we get this CBS chewy candy started, I will take my check in the mail when you get a chance. But I'd like the candy first. It'd be nice. I should slow down, like I said, pause for a while, come back. This is probably going to be one of my longer review videos. I think these nice stouts deserve them, and they're fun to do. So let me let the temperature warm up a little bit. What I'll probably do is finish this and maybe pour some more from the bottle and check in with you then, okay? All right. See you then. Well, it's been about 20 minutes since the end of that last video. I'm still here with my Founders CBS, and I gotta admit, I don't know how this has happened, actually, but I'm kind of pretty buzzed off this beer, and I have had not all that much of it. And I don't know what's going on, because I understand I'm good at math, and I understand that this is an 11% beer, and like that's strong, but it's like not insanely strong. And I've had very little of this beer, and I haven't had that much alcohol today. This is my third beer of the day, but they have not been very strong beers. I mean, there's a basic IPA, and before that there was kind of a Saison. So I don't know what's happened here, but I feel more impact from the alcohol than I would have expected from the amount of this that I have had. I don't know why that is. Got a fresh glass. This has been sitting for, you see what I mean? Barely had any of it. You can see. This has been sitting for, and the other thing is, by the way, is when I turned off the camera before, it was hard not to just keep like, this is good, tasty. So anyway, I was gonna say let's pour some more into a fresh glass. It's been about 20 minutes out of the fridge since we last checked in. I'm not gonna use all of it quite yet. A little more than that though. And we'll give it one more, maybe another 20 or 30 minutes. So let me actually set a timer. I'm gonna say 30 minutes from now. We'll see. That's gonna be quite a while. So I gotta make sure I take my time with this. Head's still looking very nice. Look how pretty that is. Just so attractive of a drink. Man, wow. I smell a little bit more of that banana smell that I usually don't love it, but with good beers lately, good stouts like the full-grown scallywag I had in the earlier video, this banana smell is tolerable. Even can be kind of nice, kind of tropical. Still get that alcohol burn. There's some alcohol burns, coffee, chocolate, all the smells you expect, really. There's a little bit of licorice right there. You know, licorice, chocolate, maple. The smell of beer has actually faded to me. Now, I don't know if that's just me, if I'm like a little drunk. But it actually smells less like beer than it did when I first opened it. I mean, it still smells like alcohol, maybe more like alcohol, like the fume of alcohol fumes more than it did now that it's warmed up. But less like a dark beer than it did before. When I take a really, really deep smell, deep with my nose inside this glass, the maple just comes reeking through. I didn't really smell it that much until I did that. That's a really pleasant smell, and that is a combination to me of maple syrup, alcohol fumes, barrel aging, licorice. I don't know where that's been coming from, but it's coming out now to me. I don't smell a whole ton of chocolate. I keep looking for it. I mean, you can easily say, yeah, there's some chocolate smell to that. That's kind of cheating, right? That's kind of like saying you can smell the coffee. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, because stouts and porters are made, if I understand right, with roasted malts. So roasting is the process by which coffee and dark chocolate and in stouts and porters acquire a large chunk of their iconic taste. So kind of goes without saying that there's coffee and some chocolate maybe that you smell in these kind of beers. The maples come in way more than ever before. Cola, that's the word I was going to say earlier. I seem to smell or notice a lot of cola connection with some of these stouts. That surprised me when I first started noticing it, like shocked me, because before I had started trying beers like this, you can see in the glass, like it's to compare it to a cola is not crazy, right? Like Coca-Cola or something, like in color and in carbonation and in consistency, they're not like they're totally different, which was shocking to me when I first started trying these, because I was expecting like a literally creamy, like almost milk texture, which I kind of wish some of them were like that. I don't know if nitro is going to do that more, like especially a draft nitro stout. I think I would like that a lot, just on principle. But anyway, I'll taste it in just a second. I'm just thinking to myself thoughts about this whole voyage of going from being essentially afraid of stouts and porters, like literally. I mean, I actually am afraid of olives, for example, and mushrooms. Like I'm almost like afraid of them. That's weird to say. It's not like literally a fear, but like I really, really would rather not eat either of those things at all. I would really rather they didn't even exist, honestly. At least so far, despite my attempts to like them. And I'm kind of exaggerating. I mean, I've had mushrooms that were good in soups, and I love it in sauce. And the same with olives. It's great for sauce. I just don't want to eat them. What am I telling you all this about? Because that's how I thought I felt towards stouts and porters. Just like don't want really to get near them if I can avoid it. My mind has completely been changed recently just by trying over and over again different stouts, particularly ones that I know are good in the opinions of multiple people who know what they're talking about. In other words, I use Beer Advocate a lot. Untapped, not so much, but I still have used it for I use it kind of as a secondary reference to why am I using it? Not because I need other people to tell me what to think, far from it, but I would like to make reasonable choices when I'm, again, trying to find the right beer among a gajillion options at the craft beer store. I definitely have my smartphone out, and I'm definitely going through Beer Advocate as fast as I can to get some sense of where things might compare to each other. And if something rates an 82 and the other one I was considering rates a 97, it's like I'm definitely going to go with the 97 and feel great about my choice and usually be proven right. Let's see how this tastes. It's been about 30 minutes since we left. This has been warming for about 40 minutes. It's almost room temperature in some ways. I wanted to say at first that this has passed the sweet spot for me, and I liked it a little better when it was a little cooler in temperature. But it's just so good. It's so good tasting. Now I'm getting a lot more wood and dark roast than before, a lot more aggressive of a taste right now than it was before. Not a lot, but more alcohol burn, which was already somewhat there. I know I said it was easy to drink. It is. It always has been. It still is. But you notice the alcohol. I think I've said that each time, really. You notice the alcohol. It just doesn't bother you because it's so well incorporated and balanced. Excuse me, and I'm actually kind of intimidated. This is weird to say. I'm going to be fine and all, but damn, imagine having two of these. You would be plastered. And I'm small by weight. I mean, not like a big guy. So, I'm a relative lightweight for alcohol. That's for sure. But still, just this buzz I'm getting feels out of proportion to the amount in the ABV, the amount of drink in the ABV of this beer. Maybe I haven't eaten enough lately or something. That's somehow, I guess that's not bothering me because of two things. One, how good this tastes, how filling it and rich and decadent it is, and also because I guess I feel warm and numb. Physically, this thing hits. It hits like a, yeah, you know. Yeah, Founders CBS. This is a beer I want to like just hold in my mouth, and it is almost beyond a beer. I hate to say it, but I can see what they meant by transcendent. It's not like a religious experience they meant transcendent. It's almost transcendent because it goes beyond, above and beyond, to another level of something beyond what you think a beer can do. Maybe I'm getting too. Maybe now I'm just chipping into the hype. I don't know. It's really good. I like it. Why do I like it? Because there has been one experience after another, different flavors, different combinations of flavors, different tastes at the beginning, middle, and end, constantly changing. The experience constantly changing. All of those experiences pleasant and interesting. And plus, I guess I'm just good-natured towards it right now because this thing, man, it's just got a buzz like a crazy, man. I don't know why that is. Anyway, I don't want to just keep my drunken ramblings going as I keep tasting this. But you know, if you're watching this, know this. I am going to enjoy the living hell out of the remaining stout in this little glass. And I'll check in again, like 20 minutes. I'm watching a timer right now. Beyond that, I don't know if that even serves a point because it's like couldn't get that much closer to room temperature than this, but we'll just try it as an experiment, okay? Why not just finish the hypothesis? 20 minutes from now, I'll finish this for the next 20 minutes, and in 20 minutes, I will check in it one last time, we'll taste it one last time, and give some final thoughts on this beer. See you then. So it's been about 30 minutes since the end of that last clip, and I have the final remaining sips of the CBS, Founders CBS Stout, Canadian Breakfast Stout. This beer has knocked me on my ass. I don't understand what's going on here. It feels so much more powerful than it should be according to its label. I am amused by how much it has just put me on my ass. I feel like this has walloped me way out of order with what it should be. I don't quite understand what's going on there. Right now it smells beer again. I smell the beer again. Remember, we're an hour or two into warming it up out of the fridge probably by now. An hour and a half. Almost getting a tiny bit of wine element there. Maybe I'm just imagining it. The alcohol is still there. The barrel is still there. I smell the barrel, the alcohol, almost like a wine at this point. The maple I don't smell so much right now. Let's taste it. Almost get hints of bourbon at this point. Bourbon. I mean, I guess it was in bourbon barrels. It almost feels like a bourbon right now. A chocolate bourbon. Unreal. This, I don't know. Is this better than the full-grown Scallywag Stout by Tufts Brewery that easily achieved my top favorite stout ever? I don't know. That thing was mind-boggling. That was astonishing. This is extremely good. I don't know if it quite is as astonishing to me. I don't know why that is. It's a different of a couple points out of 100. Not that significant. This is an excellent beer. The Founders CBS. I love to get to say stuff like I see what the hype is about. I love to get to say that. It's not what I expected. It's substantially different than what I expected, but you know what? It's what I should have expected. I should have learned my lesson by now that beers taste like how beers taste, not like how you imagine they'll taste based on the words that are used to describe them before you taste them. They taste like beers. And you need to think about them in terms of the beer, not in terms of what fancy flavor words people use to describe them. It's so good. This has been an experience drinking this beer. And when I drink a stout, as someone learning, the reason I'm learning stouts is so I get to enjoy the experience and expand my experience bank with trying different stouts and being able to appreciate them and enjoy them. And this stout is easy to appreciate and easy to enjoy. So that's the final word on the Founders CBS. It might be the last word, especially because of the fact that they say it's not being brewed anymore. I have not verified that, but if it's true, get it now or don't. You could just leave it and I'll buy it myself. But extremely good. Extremely good. Love it. All right. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you have enjoyed this kind of content. This is a really long video, but I think I can tell that I really like a beer when I do a long video on it. So there's going to be short videos, long videos, in-between videos, beers I love, beers I hate, sours, IPAs, farmhouse, saisons, porters, and all sorts of crazy stuff that I'm looking into. So if you want to be checking in about the best in craft brewing, and then please like and subscribe and comment. I cannot tell you how much it means to me every time I get a like or a comment or subscribe. At this point, it tells me so much about what I should be doing so that I can make something you enjoy, and it's also fun for me to do. Okay, I will see you in the next video. My beer fridge is just full of beers right now. I have so many reviews to do, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Okay, I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe.